Hey guys, and welcome to Dan-gler's Sea Fishing. Tonight I'm fishing Boldner. Now let's get fishing.
Daddy's going fishing.
Pick up the rod and tie your line. Dangler's here, it's fishing time. Cast it out and feel the breeze. Watch the water dance with ease. Hook, line, sinker, hear that cheer. Dangler's catching fish right here. Reel it in, don't let it go. Every catch is quite a show.
Hey guys, as I said, tonight I've come down Boldner. What am I looking for tonight? I'm actually looking for smoothhounds, but I'd be lying if I said that was all I was looking for. Because as most of you will know, Boldner is just around the corner from Yarmouth Common where I had that stingray, and I am still after another stingray. I know that may sound a bit greedy, but who doesn't love catching good fish? So I've come down to Boldner. It's been quite an overcast day. It's been fairly warm, but it's not been hot, but it's very calm. And I think this makes good conditions to come down to a venue like this and fish it on the low tide up. So I'm fishing from pretty much the dead low all the way up. I'm not quite in the spot I was intending to go because there's a couple of guys fishing just down from me. So if I get a good fish, I might have to walk along the wall a little bit to help myself land it. But I am sort of in the place where I want to be. So my tactics tonight are going to be using pulley pennels. I've got a long pulley pennel and I've got a short pulley pennel. The long pulley pennel is what I'm going to be putting the ragworm on. The short pulley pennel is what I'm going to be putting some crab on to see if we can find a smoothhound. So my baits tonight are just ragworm and spider peelers. That's all I've brought. I've brought a few spider peelers and then just a big bunch of ragworm. So we're going to make ragworm sausages. Everything's going out on 2.0 pulley pennels. So it's been quite a while since I've actually just been out fishing on my own. Obviously in the last video I was out with the wife and you should know what have happened there by now. I mean that was interesting. It was very good fun. Yes, it's been a little while since I've been out on my own. I did fish a comp since that video. I haven't filmed it. I didn't want to film that one. I did do pretty well though. I managed to come first on the day, mainly because I managed to bag a smoothhound, which bumped me right up the order and did pretty well. But it did remind me how much fun it is catching these smoothhounds. So that's why I thought tonight I'll come out and have a play for a few smoothhounds. Don't want orange crab juice down my crotch, that looks a bit dodgy, doesn't it? So I've just peeled my crab, so I'm just going to whip it up. I'm going to use half a crab. I am only using 2.0s. They are sort of a favourite go-to pulley for me. And I do use them quite a lot, mainly because I feel like there's quite a good hookup rate on them and I feel quite confident I can land a lot of things on those 2.0 hooks. I do remake all of my rigs after every time I use them. So what I do is I tend to take off all the terminal tackle and I'll reuse that. But any hooks or trace, body and snoods I will replace. So I've got that all whipped up. I'm just going to pop my 2.0 pulley. So I'm just going to go in through the base there. Pop it down through so that I've got a nice hook sticking out the bottom. Then this top octopus beak, I'm just going to pop in the top so that I've got a nice hook up here and a nice hook down here. Then I'm just going to pop an extra little bit of whipping around that just to hold it in place. So yeah, just whipping around. What I'm doing is I'm not actually whipping over the hook or the eye on that top one. I'm literally just whipping over the body just to hold it in nice and tight. And then for this bottom one, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to whip up over the eye and probably not the bottom, just over the body there, just to hold it in place so that we get two nice proud hooks sticking out. Just wash my hands in that water. That water's pretty warm. I think I saw on the news today the water's like 19 degrees, which is about the temperature that it is today. So it's pretty even across the board, which is it's interesting. I don't know whether that has an effect, but definitely having warmer waters is going to be good for fishing. Should be anyway. So for the ragworms, I am going to use my baiting tool just because I can't be bothered to get out my needle as well. But I'm just going to head hook the ragworm onto the tool. Like so. Just going to start with 3. No point going too big too early. So I've just whipped down, and then I'm just going to turn that over and roll that back up. And then I'm going to flip it back up the other way and whip back up the body. And then keep rotating till we get a nice, relatively tidy sausage there, ready to go. Like so. So with putting the hook into this one, same sort of principle. Bottom one, we just want it tucked in at the bottom, and then our top one, we're just going to loop that in the very top of the bait, pull our line nice and tight, and then we end up with 2 nice hooks sticking out. Then we're just going to whip over them just to keep them nice and tight. So just whipping that top piece, and then I'm just going to whip further down the body. With ragworm, where they're quite soft, you don't need to worry too much about if the hook is slightly, I still want that point sticking out, but you don't need to worry about it being buried a little bit, because when those fish bite onto it, they will crush through that very easily. So that will still set the hook nicely. I hate it when you drop your bait elastic. Anyway, that one's ready to go. Let's try and get these baits out. And there we are, we're out. So my setup tonight is I'm using my 7HTs with the 25-pound fluorocarbon coated Japanese line. I still can't remember the name of it. And I've paired them up with my C6 low diameters. The reason I'm using these rods is they are nice and light and flicky, makes life a little bit easier. They're a little bit shorter than my Any Fish Anywhere, so that's a bit easier with the trees behind me. And they've got nice bite detection and they're pretty tough, so thought I'd give them a run out tonight. So as you can see here, that looked a very bassy bite. Was a bit too keen with that one. Well, that was a little bit of action, but I struck a little bit early. Got a bit keen. I did see it was starting to move round to the side and I thought I better hit it, but I missed it. I think it might have been a school bass. Didn't feel like anything big when I tried to pull it anyway. But positive, we had a little bit of movement. So as I was trying to say, the area out here, it's mainly sort of like weed and rocks close in. Then we have a big sandy, muddy area in front, which is full of worm. That's where you tend to get your stingrays coming in. And then we've got sort of like an eelgrass bed a bit further out, and it travels all the way along this area down here. That's a big draw, lots of fish come into those sort of areas, lots of food in there, lots of areas to hide and ambush. And then with the rocks and that down here, that's where you get all your smoothhounds and your bass coming in to hit that crab. So how's your fishing going this summer? You been having some good luck? If you have, drop me a comment. I've been having a pretty decent year this year, so I'm pretty happy with the fishing. Fishing's been going fairly well. It's one of the things about fishing, just me and the camera, is it gives me an opportunity to talk a load of rubbish with you lot. Because I've got no one else to talk rubbish with. So I never actually brought a coat out tonight because I looked on my phone and the weatherman said it wasn't going to rain for 6 days, and it's raining. I don't know why I didn't bother. I should have just left one, put it in the van, but it is actually raining. This rod here is getting the tiniest little knock. I mean, it could just be a spider crab playing with it. Oh. Moved a little bit more that time. So I've tried something a little bit different that time. What I've actually done is I've got a couple of crab legs and I've mixed them in. So I've got 3 ragworm and 2 crab legs mixed in as one big sausage. Let's see if it will just mix it up a little bit more. It should still have a good chance of catching a stingray on that because they will eat crab as well. So that peeler crab scent might bring in a smoothhound as well. It could bring in a bass. Might just add that extra little bit of scent. Crab legs are a really good thing just to tip baits off and just to change that scent a little bit. So one thing since I've started this channel, since I started videoing my fishing, I've got absolutely terrible at taking pictures of fish. I seem to forget all the time, and a lot of the time I rely on the fact that I've managed to get it on film so that I can take a picture from that if I actually wanted one. But I mean, I got lucky with that conger that someone actually took a couple of pictures while I was weighing it and moving it around, so I managed to get a couple of pictures. But yeah, I've really got to get in the habit of actually like taking pictures. And the other thing that I need to do is I need to check that the camera is still running, because when I've got all the lights on, it's really hard to see the flashing light of the camera. I mean, I've just realised that I had the setting on the volume on really low, so when it actually made the noise that it turns off, I couldn't hear it most of the time. So I hadn't noticed that the light had turned off. But I've now turned that up, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I might notice every time that battery has actually died, so that I don't keep missing things. It's actually so quiet down here, it's almost creepy. It was meant to be blowing quite a strong wind tonight as well. I'm starting to wonder whether my weather app is completely screwed, and that's the problem. Because it feels like there's hardly a breath of wind, and now I know I've come to an area that should be quite sheltered, but I would have thought you'd at least notice that there was some wind. But right now you couldn't tell whether there was a breath of wind. So as it's been so quiet, it gives me an opportunity to talk about something I wanted to say that I've changed about my fishing in the last couple of years. One of the things that I have changed, and I think it is resulting in me producing some better fish in the last couple of years, is I've stopped fear of the blank. By that I mean, you know, I don't worry about blanking. If I come out and I'm targeting a certain species, like today we're targeting smoothhounds and a stingray, if I don't catch anything, it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to remember it in a couple of sessions anyway. So it's not. I see so many people sort of they scratch around to try and find that extra fish just to save the blank, but at the end of the day, you won't remember the pout or the little strap conger or the little dogfish that saved your blank. But you will remember them really good fish that you targeted and you landed. So don't fear that blank. What it will make you do is it will make you sort of change away from that tactic, and that may be the difference between you landing that absolutely special fish compared to just, you know, landing a pout or, you know, a tiny school bass or something along them lines. I mean, when it comes to match fishing, that is a little bit different. Match fishing, I will scratch as much as possible if we're getting low on time to make sure that I have managed to get that fish to weigh in, because weighing in is very important in our matches in the way that they are structured. But for my casual fishing, if I come out and I blank, I blank. It's not the end of the world. Don't get me wrong, it's always nice when you see some fish, but don't let it dictate the way that you are trying to fish, because it will just move you away from what you're trying to target. But likewise, if you've been having a load of rough sessions and you just need that little pickup, go out, throw out some small hooks, throw out some ragworm, have a little session on those smaller fish, and just get your eye back in, get yourself enjoying fishing again. So one of the other things that I have changed in recent years is I like to remake my rigs after every use. I'm not saying that everyone should be doing that, but the reason I do that is because when that fish of a lifetime comes along, or when that real good fish that you want it to be on the best stuff. You don't want any nicks in the line, you don't want anything, you know, you don't want them hooks to be slightly unsharpened. So I like to remake mine just so that I have that confidence that that rig is in the best condition that it possibly can. I mean, I make my own rigs every time, so the actual cost of it is pennies. It's I bulk buy a lot of my hooks, so that it means that they don't cost that much, and I use just bulk spools of Asso Classic as my trace body. The fluorocarbon obviously can add a bit of extra cost on there, but I would say it's costing maybe 15-20p every rig by doing that. But it's obviously, it takes a lot of extra time, and I know that everyone else doesn't have that time essentially. But I like to ensure that I've got the best chance of landing that fish, so I like my gear to be in as best a condition as possible. So as I said, what I tend to do is I tend to just chop it down. I will throw away the hooks, I'll bin them after every use, and I will still use all the terminal tackle again, as long as it's all in good condition. But I'll also throw away that rig body so that I can remake it. So last time I fished down here, we had quite a lot of current run through. We dropped them in a little bit closer, and we started getting quite a bit of action. That was as the tide was pushing up. We started getting a little bit of weed run through here, and I thought maybe it's probably a good idea to try and drop maybe the worm bait in a little bit closer, see if we can get any interest there. Can still pick up the stingrays around that area as well. They will come in very shallow, but we've got that muddy sandy area in front of us, and I wonder, by plonking it in there a little bit more, we're not in the eelgrass, we're just in that sort of muddy area. It might just make a little bit of difference. Still sticking with the pulley pennels, still 2Os, still big worm baits. Just changing the area that we're plonking it in. See if we can find some interest in there. But if we don't, we don't. Oh. There you go. Yeah, missed it. Well, as I was saying that, I managed to get this little bass. I know he's not overly big, but you know, as I was saying about just dropping it short, worm bait in short, I got hit nice and quick. A little bass. I mean, he's not very big. I doubt he'll even go a pound, but you know, it's a welcome sight. At least we managed to find something. As I said though, it's not always important, but it is nice to see one anyway. Let's get this guy back. So the guys that were fishing a bit further down, they have actually moved now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move down that. I'm not moving there because of the spot or anything like that. It's just because down there is a big ramp that I can get down, that if I do happen to get a better fish, I can get down there and pick it up. It's a lot easier than me trying to play off this wall here. So I've just moved down onto the ramp area and I've just cast them out. I'm just trying you at a slightly different angle to see whether it shows a few bites a little bit easier. But I've dropped them both in fairly short, even the crab. What I've done with the crab that was out there is I've just whipped a bit of ragworm up the side, see if we can entice a bass onto that. Should be a decent sized bass if it takes it, so at least a couple of pound. So because that weed isn't pushing too hard, what I've done is I've popped the crab one right out as far as I can get it, and pinged that one out there. And then the worm one, I've just dropped that in a bit shorter. It's just a cast, nothing sort of major. I mean, it's not too short, but it's just out a little bit shorter, just so that we're hopefully sat in that sort of muddy, sandy area. And we'll see what we can find in that area. Damn, missed it. Well guys, it's not the biggest of smoothhounds, but he has fallen for the crab. And as you can see, little target species. It's always fun catching these guys. I mean, this one's not very big, maybe 2 2.5 pounds, something along that lines, maybe even 3, but not much more than that. I would say 2.5. But anyway, he's been a welcome addition, but maybe we can get a few more crabs out there and maybe we can find a bigger one of these. Anyway, let's get this guy back. And look at this cute little guy. I didn't realise, but he was actually sat on the worm rod. Very cute. They're so tiny, these little ones. You always feel sort of guilty catching them, but I mean, they're lovely little specimens. They're perfect examples of the adults, but just look how thin they are. They bulk up as soon as they get a bit bigger. Anyway, let's get this guy back nice and safe and see if we can find a few more before we go home. So I'm probably going to give it about half an hour more so we can see if we can find a few more fish in that next half an hour. I'm still going with the crab on one and the ragworm sausages on the other. I've got them both at distance again now. Where that weed isn't running through too hard, it's quite fishable. It doesn't appear to be an issue. So having them at distance, we're just giving it a good go. See if we can find anything out there. Might be lucky and see a couple more hounds before the end of the night. But we're having a nice time fishing. Well guys, we're into our third species of the night. Just a small conger eel, strap eel. This guy's bleeding a little bit, so I'm just going to pop him back fairly quickly. But he'll be all right, he'll swim off quite happily. So it is almost the end of the night, so I've just whacked one rod out just while I'm packing up. So I've still got one rod out while I pack up the rest of my gear. And then I'll pack this one down last. See if we can just grab one more fish before the end of the night. I have got worm baits out on here, so there's no more crab going out. It's just a worm left to go. And one more strap conger just to finish the night. Anyway, if you are enjoying my videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until the next video, I'll see you then. Let's go pop this guy back.
It's all packed up, the lines are in, the tide has turned, the day's grown thin. So hit that sub, you won't wanna miss, 'cause Dan-gler will be back again to catch more fish.